Long before the modern town of Techiman emerged, the people of Takyiman passed through a long journey of migration and settlement. According to historical tradition, their story reaches back many centuries, to a time when the forests of present-day Ghana were home to small communities searching for places where they could live, hunt, and prosper. History has it that the Takyiman people first settled in the Amowi caves under the leadership of King Aman. The caves provided shelter and protection, while the surrounding forest provided food and other resources. For generations, the people lived in harmony with their environment. The hunters moved through the surrounding forest in search of animals, while families gathered together around the caves. The Amowi caves became an important chapter in the early history of the people. But eventually, the Amowi caves collapsed. The people could no longer remain in the place that had sheltered them for generations. Once again, they were forced to move in search of a new home. Under the leadership of their traditional authorities, the people continued their migration until they reached Bono Manso. Bono Manso would become one of the most important settlements in the history of the Bono people, and is traditionally regarded as an early centralized state of the Akan world. At Bono Manso, the community grew. People engaged in farming, hunting, trade, and traditional governance. The settlement developed into an important political and economic center, remembered today as a significant part of the history of the Akan people. Centuries later, during the second quarter of the 17th century, around the 1650s, Bono hunters continued to explore the vast forests in search of suitable places for habitation and hunting. Among these hunters were men who would play an important role in the next chapter of the people's migration. Eventually, the hunters discovered a comfortable place for habitation. The area became known as Tanoboase. The people settled there and began another chapter of their long journey. It was around this period that tradition remembers the discovery of Taa Kora, regarded in the tradition as the first Tano deity. The deity became associated with important rituals. Among these rituals was drumming. But the constant sound of drumming created an unexpected problem for the hunters. The noise traveled deep into the forest. Animals were frightened away from the hunting grounds, making it increasingly difficult for the hunters to find game. For one hunter, the situation became unbearable. His name was Takyi Fri. Determined to continue his hunting expedition away from the noise, Takyi Fri ventured farther into the forest and established a new abode. Takyi Fri built his dwelling and continued his life as a hunter. Before long, people began traveling to his abode to purchase meat from him. What had begun as a hunter's isolated dwelling gradually became a place of activity and settlement. The place became associated with its founder, Takyi Fri. It was known as Techiman, the settlement or place of Takyi. Tradition places the creation of this abode around 1690. Over time, the name evolved and became known as Takyiman, and eventually Techiman. According to the tradition, the settlement established by Takyi Fri represents the final settlement of the people in the long migration that began centuries earlier. From the Amowi caves to Bono Manso to Tanoboase and finally to Takyiman, the journey had unfolded across generations. This remarkable journey reflects a history shaped by migration, leadership, hunting, religion, environmental challenges, and the search for suitable places to live. Each settlement became a chapter in the story of the people, and each chapter brought them closer to the place that would eventually become known as Techiman. Today, Techiman stands as a major center of Bono history and culture. Its story is not simply the story of one town. It is the story of a people who migrated, settled, adapted, and built new communities across generations. From the ancient caves of Amowi, through Bono Manso and Tanoboase, to the abode of Takyi Fri, the journey of Takyiman lives on in the heritage of the people. This is the story of the long journey to Techiman. If you enjoyed this journey into Ghana's rich cultural heritage, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with others who love African history and traditions. This is brought to you by the Ghana State Book Project and supported by UNESCO, Metalex, SAS Strategic Investment Management, Rocksters Roofing Systems, East Cantonment Pharmacy, and Ready Oil. We encourage more support and sponsorship. Ghana State Book Project, your source of authentic traditional histories in Ghana.